Hello, my name is Cynthia and welcome to my Flosstube channel. I'm happy to be here with you today to talk to you about my stitching, some things I've embroidered and punched, and a craft or two to share, and also, as I mentioned last time, a focus on Brenda Gervais finishes and whips and stash. So that will be after I show the couple finishes I've had. Today is Sunday, March the 3rd. It's a late afternoon. I've just taken my kids to choir, and so I had a quiet house. Hopefully Dahlia will stay quiet. You might hear her bellow here in a minute because there's people walking by, and how dare they. So let me start off with a couple of finishes that are new, and then I have two that are older. I like to show different things like punch needle and crafts and embroidery, so I'll show those first. This was my drum of the month for March. I started this project a couple years ago, but I'm finally getting it well underway and really enjoying the process. This was by Snowflower Diaries. On her blog, it is free. This fabric I dyed myself to a kind of shamrocky green, and I think the bird shows up so well. The pattern is, I believe, stitched on like a tan color, but I thought this was a little bit more in my style with the bird. And I really love all the colors on this. It was such a fun stitch with the different flowers. They almost look like kind of like an old 50s tablecloth or something, like definitely kind of retro. And these were supposed to be blue and orange, but I made them pink. I had a color and cotton floss called Rhubarb that a sweet subscriber sent to me. And then a lot of these flosses are Wicked Stepmother. This is all my fancy flosses together. It's Gentle Arts and Threadworks and lots of Victoria Motto and Wicked Stepmother. And I just kind of pull from this and put them on a piece of felt and then kind of go from there. I really like the way that it turned out, though. It was super fun. And it's lined with kind of a checked fabric, but for whatever reason, this month I had a long enough piece that I didn't have to piece in fabric. Sometimes I have to put in a piece of fabric here. This is 28 count even weave from Hobby Lobby. It came as tan, and I used, I think, apple Rit dye, and a little bit of taupe. And probably a little bit of instant coffee too, just to get it a little darker. But it does have some modeling. And then I threw in some pieces of muslin while I was dyeing this. And then I thought, oh, I'll just tear those and make that the tie this time. And I put more of that on top after I ironed it with some silk sari that I ironed. There's already some seam binding underneath. And then I just took a pin and stuck in a little shamrock that I cut from felt, not even wool felt, just regular felt, and some ribbon. So that comes off each month, but I think this is my favorite so far. So there's my perpetual drum for March. And then I also did my cat of the month that I do with my daughter Anna, my 10-year-old. I thought she was 11 last time. She is 10. I'm so bad about her birthday. I always get confused, but this was a cute little cat with a rainbow underneath, and Anna did the shamrocks. She got a little squiggy on some of the lines, but I thought, well, let's just leave it. I could tear it out, but it's her project too, so it doesn't have to be perfect. She's definitely learning, and it takes practice to get better. So we just put it on a piece of green felt, and we use those sew-in magnets that I showed you last time. Those are super handy. And then I tried this was my first attempt at a shamrock. The second one turned out better. And there's Dahlia losing her mind. This is what we go every day. Hang on just a sec. Okay, sorry. Literally someone walked by our house, and they may have had a dog with them, which would be extra offensive, but anyway. So here it is on the stand that we have for it. And The first shamrock, like I said, was not very successful. This one was a lot better. I actually did that in 2 parts. This one I tried to cut out freehand all at once, and it's a little weird, but that's okay. I think it looks really cute on here for March, and then I have this little shamrock here to set at the bottom. So primitive, not bright like I don't like, just the way I like. And then 2 previous finishes that had to do with bunnies, but also lots of green, which I think of for March. This is one of my favorite punch needles I've done from Teresa Kogut. She put this out in a punch needle primitive stitcher magazine for spring of 2018 or 2019. 2019, I think, but it does come individually now, I know. I think it's called Welcome Spring. Lettering is hard with punch needles, so it's kind of squiggy. It's kind of hard to read the squiggly writing, but I put it on this tray from Dollar Tree, and I used some felt to kind of offset it because I thought that looked cute with the extra flowers on the side. So, and I think I have some gimp around there to finish it, and some sari silk and burlapped wired ribbon, so it might be a little smushed. I just pulled it out of a box this morning, but I always like to set this one out for spring. So there's a punch needle that I've done. I need to get a new spring punch needle pattern. I don't even think I have one on my radar. There might be one from my magazine for spring, but I'm sort of picky about punch needles, so I need to see if Teresa put anything out for market that I like for spring. And then my favorite stuffies that I've ever made, or I don't know what you call these, sculptures, soft sculptures. This was from, oh shoot, now I'm going to forget the name. Is it Eagle Creek? I'll try to put the designer down below, but she has a bunch of these sweet little bunnies, and this took so much work just to get it all coordinating, but let me take her out because she's kind of hard to see. This was the pattern that came, and she has, you know, a sweet little face, and her whiskers need some help. I put a little bit of, what did I put? Glue on those to make them stiff, but I need to keep fiddling with them a little bit. And then I made her a little dress that was quilt fabric that I RIT dyed, and then I RIT dyed some sari silk to match. So here's the girl, and she does come with a little pocket. Those are some old jeans we had that I always save, and a little bit of lavender in her pocket, and some lace because her head is a little bit wonky where it attaches. But what I ended up doing was making I think her name is Clara. I think that's what the pattern calls her. And then I made Clarence myself based on the pattern. Instead of making it a dress, of course, I just kind of glued on a piece of denim, and then I used, you know, like the hem of the denim to make overall straps with buttons and then a pocket. And of course, he's got a bow tie, and I just think they are so cute. The faces, I think I switched this face so that it's got a seam in the middle instead of this one it has on 2 sides. So they ended up looking more, I thought, masculine and feminine, but aren't they so sweet? And I put them in this box that I got from Michael's or Hobby Lobby, maybe even Joann's, and then I used this vintage postcard from graphicsfairy.com. You can get all kinds of images for free, and I just glued that on with some ink, and so I think they look so cute in there with these little carrots, and I need to fiddle with them a little bit. They've been up on a shelf upstairs, and so I don't have them put together quite right, but those were fun, and I'll try to link that designer below. They're on Etsy. And one other thing I want to show you before I get into the Brenda Gervais kind of parade that I have for y'all is this start that I did with a free gift from my friend I shared last week, the Blooming Tiny Town. I've always wanted to do for spring, and so I went ahead and started it on this. She also gave me some vintage cloth by Lori Holt of Be in My Bonnet, and it's 14 count Ada. And I think the color is just called Vintage. I think that's right. So it has some nice modeling though. And even though I don't usually stitch on Ada, I don't mind either way. I can pretty much stitch on anything. So here's that first little house. I just had a small start. Again, I'm just using from my big pom-pom of threads. And I'm putting them on my little, what are these called? This is from That So Kelly Co. And it was a gift from a friend at a retreat. So I wrap all the threads in there, and this one is so small and simple. So I thought I'd just do a couple of houses on that when I have time. And then, sorry, I've got some extra thread. And then maybe I'll have time to finish it into a drum this spring, but I at least wanted to get a little start on it, and I'm sure you've seen it, but It's so cute with those little tiny flowers and trees and that corally color that I like. So that is a start that I had. Like I said, I'll just do a few houses as I can and we'll see how it goes. Let me put up the spring things that I got out and I will get into the Brenda Gervais portion. Okay, I wanted to start with my Brenda Gervais whips that I'm currently working on. I didn't get as much work on my Redbird Fractor as I wanted, but I got quite a bit done on this heart and hand sampler. I've got a lot of good feedback on Instagram about my fabric choice. I love the dove that it was called for, but I just really felt like it would match in my home better on this 32 count ale. And I really thought about pushing through and finishing this, but I wanted to get to the other projects I'm working on, so I hope I can finish it this month. It goes really fast and it's just so gratifying to stitch. I feel like it just makes me happy. This white at the top, I did get a question about what color I'm using, and I wish I had labeled this. I just have this little embroidery card that a friend at church gave me, I think, and I used a kind of ecru looking floss. I think it might be Love Letters by A Wicked Stepmother, because it does have some variegation, but I mean, anything I think is going to look really nice on ale. You could even use it just plain ecru, or I love the silk from Dinky Dye. It's got great coverage for white, which I know some people have issues with, and it's called Pearl, which is funny because you would think that the one called Natural would be ecru, but natural Dinky Dye silk is white, like bright white, and Pearl is this similar color with the silk. So if you're looking for a good white, especially for like a house or something that you want to have, or snow, something you want good coverage for, I really like those Dinky Dyes. Natural is the bright white and Pearl is the ecru, and then this Love Letters from Wicked Stepmother is really nice too, and I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Well, like I said, it's such a nice dark fabric, this ale by Picture This Plus, that a lot of whites are going to look nice on it. And I am using 2 strands because it's 32 count. So a lot of times I'll do a 36 or 40, but it's actually going to end up pretty square. I think I could put it in a 12 by 12. I put my glass over top, and since last time I did finish that whole second row there, I might have a few more stitches right there on that willow, but the rest of it's all done. The different little hearts and oh, there's another color on that pinwheel. It's actually not quite finished, but I was just trying to fill that all the way in, and then I did some more on the basket, and all the outlining on the frame is done. That took a while to do as well, so just keep trucking along with that, and then hopefully I can have that framed soon. My Redbird Fractor, I also got a little bit of work on. I was missing a thread for the nest, and I found it. I had borrowed it for something and put it back, and so it was in my stash. It's that outer nest color, and I think it's called Palomino. It's really pretty, and all of these are the called for threads, and I think it's the called for fabric. It's Wren by Picture This Plus, but it's real soft and kind of vintage looking. I got a little bit more red filled in on that back of the bird, but I didn't have a great couple stitching weeks. We had some busyness, and then I got a terrible toothache about 4 days ago. I ended up having to go get an antibiotic, and I have to meet with a specialist, and they couldn't find anything wrong, but I was just in agony. So not a lot of stitching over the last week when I was supposed to be working on those, but I did really have fun with that heart and hand sampler and feel good about the progress on that. Okay, as part of the Brenda Gervais parade that I wanted to do, I was going to pull out the 6 or 7? I think it's 6 finishes I've done from Brenda Gervais. I know lots of people have done way more. She's a favorite for a lot of us just because of her style. It's just so appealing. But I wanted to just revisit some of these that you've probably seen before, but all in one place. A lot of these are older. I've seen a lot of these older patterns on Jen's Stitching Niche, if you're wondering where to get them, because a lot of times these aren't on 1, 2, 3 stitch, but you can find them on Etsy, or you can find them at Brenda Gervais' store. I can't remember what it's called. Country Stitches Online, I think. So this is the let's see, needles and pens. It's supposed to have text underneath here, a needle pulling thread, but because I was fitting it in this custom shape here that I got from Michael's, it didn't even have like a clip. I just have it kind of pasted in there. I did not put that text at the bottom. And I also scooched them in a little bit. When I traced around this frame, I knew I wanted to use this frame from the beginning. I made it fit by squishing in probably 8 stitches or more. So this is a little bit bigger if you do it as charted. I also changed her face a little bit, as I often do. She looked a little bit angry, I thought, in the original, so I gave her kind of some single stitch like eyelashes, and I changed her mouth a little bit too. I usually do that just to give them a little bit more personality. The skirt was also some kind of honeycomb color, like a tan, and I used Bracken by Color and Cotton, which is one of my favorite like denim-y blues. So yeah, she is so cute, and she's part of my needleworker collection that my Mary Mary needleworker is going to go beside. So that's my first finish from the archives. And then this is also an older one. I had it for a long time and had like down to the wire to finish it for a Sampler Guild challenge that I was a part of, and I finally got it done. It's called the Shepherd Sampler. And it's an adaptation of an original sampler. So the original is spread out a little bit more, and this is just kind of compact, but it has that strawberry border that's really fun to stitch. And I like that it's not, you don't have to match it up. You have these little checkerboards up there so that you don't have to be like absolutely perfect on this border. She gives you a little bit of an out. And she also does a lot of those kind of ghosty alphabets where the letters are floating around. That's a real signature Brenda Gervais aspect of her designs. There's that weird looking dog that kind of looks like a lion. I think that's a pretty classic motif. And these sheep, they're pretty funky looking. If you look at them, they kind of have like a strange head, but it's just a cute little sampler. It goes on my farm wall because of the sheep. And I found this frame. It's just a standard frame. I think it had like different panels, like 3 panels for home portraits, but I don't use the glass, so it gives me enough room to fit in a piece of mat board with the fabric stretched myself. I do all my framing myself. So there's Shepherd Sampler, and I think that was on Vintage Buttercream by Lakeside Linens, probably a 32. But I only used 1 strand of thread, so it makes it really vintage. Here's another favorite that I usually have behind me here, but I've got all my winter stuff in there. I need to put it back. This is a potting shed, I think is the name of it. I'll write it in here if I'm incorrect, but this one has a couple of different similar seasons with like this sign. There's one that's like a witch, and there's one that's Santa Claus, but this one is kind of more the spring one. Has a lot of terracottas, and I think that color is like cayenne. So I really, really like it. This is a Victorian Motto fabric that I got when I was in the club. It's 32 count, so I used 2 strands, and I did my own colors. A lot of times I do that. I wish that sheep showed up just a little bit better. It's easier in person to see it, but on the camera here, it's kind of fading out, and there's lots of little tiny bees. They don't even have wings. They're just little tiny stitches, but I think it's so cute. And I put it on this old, looks like I got it for $4, this chalkboard from Hobby Lobby. And I think it looks really good on there. So that one comes out, and I pretty much keep that out all the year. And then this one is in my fall haul, and I know it's not perfectly framed. I wish I could get a better frame for it. It doesn't quite fit at the top. And I have the other frame exactly, and it fits for my patriotic sheep, but it doesn't for this one. This is called Boo Bobby. Again, an older one. You can still find it, though. I saw it on Jen's Stitching Niche on Etsy. I looked for these yesterday. It has some wool that you cut yourself and just kind of piece in there, and then the alphabet is just kind of floating around, but it's so cute. I thought, I really love those colors. I'm pretty sure I used the called for. I think it's like pumpkin pie or some other orangey colors. And this, I think I think I dyed this fabric myself. I think it's just an even weave, but I wanted it to be kind of orangey because it's for fall. So this frame I kept the way my mom had it. I don't know what she had done to it. I think it had like some antiquing on it. The other one I spray painted white. So they kind of go together, but I don't keep them together. So there's Boo Bobby. It's really fun. I've seen that done on 40 count as a little pillow as well. So you can make it smaller, but I like it a little bit bigger. This was, I believe, the first thing I ever stitched from Brenda Gervais. This was probably like the 4th or 5th thing I ever stitched because I started in when did I start stitching? 2018, 2017? It's only been about 6 years, but this one was some of my first specialty stitches. It has a satin stitch on that ear. It has lazy daisies for the wings and some straight stitches for that straw. I know I used some hand dyed by Rolanda on that egg because that's such a pretty blue. And that's just an ecru. And this fabric was some Monica that I dyed myself. So I have had this on several different finishes. I've had it on a big like metal tray and it was just too clunky. And then I had it on a smaller silver one and it does have magnets. So that's probably where I'll put it. But it comes out for spring. And I love this little Sorry Silk and then that little robin's egg there because it matches. But I'm pretty sure it's called Welcome Spring. And I know I passed that to my friend in, is she in New Zealand or Australia? Patchy Pony Stitcher. She stitched that as well, the same pattern. So that was fun. And then the last one I have to share is by, they're all by Brenda Gervais, is called Poppies. Let's see. Oh, it's something Poppies. Now I'm forgetting. It looks a lot like Boo Bobby. It reminds me of it. It has the similar shape on the sheep. And I think the sheep is called for white. I made it gray with this hand-dyed floss I had. I thought it was cute to make it in kind of circles. And then it also has that cut wool that you piece on. I remember this part was really tricky to me. I kept losing count and I ended up just kind of fudging it and making it work. I think I stuck with the flag, of course, but see how this one fits in there. And I don't know why. It's the exact same frame, the exact same stitch count on the other one, but it doesn't fit. So, and I had somebody tell me I should have painted this frame green, but where I put it with all my 4th of July stuff or my patriotic stuff, I wanted the frame to be white. So I was thinking, okay, thank you for telling me you want me to paint my frame, but this is how I have it. And I wish I knew, is it Patriotic Poppies? I know it has the word poppies in the title, and I have seen it still on Etsy. So those are all the finishes that I have. I have a couple of different favorite patterns I was going to share. I have this book of my Brenda Gervais collection, and I don't have a huge collection. I have some computer printouts of the ones that I have in here so I can kind of see at a glance, and a few of them I don't have yet, but I want to get. I really want to do the patterns that have the ABC, like different pillows that you're supposed to stitch over one. I don't like stitching over one, but I wanted to share just a couple that are probably going to be next in my, oh yeah, there's that other pattern. Needle and thread was charted like that. It says needle and thread, but I changed the colors. Oh, I just remembered. I also have that Christmas piece with the freebie from Facebook. That is, I guess, the 7th one. But the one I'm going to do next, definitely, is this mystery sampler that she did. And I saw a friend stitching it. What is it called? Birds of a Feather, I think. It was the last one that I could find at the Stitch Niche, which is my local needlework store. And it has the most beautiful border on it. I'm really excited to get started on it. I don't think you can find this maybe on her website, but it's a 3-part pattern. You first get that border. There's a better picture of it. Oh, I just love that border. And then you get the alphabet, and then finally you get the little house and the grass at the bottom. So it's a 3-part chart. I have this promised to my friend Jenny. I don't know like I said, if you can still get it on Brenda Gervais' website, but it's one that's not very common and it's kind of older. So I wanted to share that one if you have it, you know, get it out and work on it. It's so pretty. And then a brand new or much newer one that I want to work on is Caroline Amelia Travel. And I think Brenda from Brenda the Sampler Stitcher did this one. It has lots of pinks in it and it's just soft and funky. I think she followed the actual sampler pretty closely. You can see with those weird-legged people and the strange bird, but it definitely called to me because it was so funky. And I also got from my friend out of that Christmas haul, I call it Christmas in February, I got this piece from Bloom Where You've Planted, which I've always wanted to do that one. I'll probably use the bald Donnies that I have for my red fractor bird and just do this piece with it because I think there's some of the similar tones. That's an older one. It feels like 2 or 3 years go by and everything's old because I haven't been stitching that long, but these come and go pretty fast. And then I love this one for fall, the Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. I love the colors on that one. And I think it calls for a silk. That white silk is a trick I learned about from Carol Solbuck's stitcher because she was stitching this and she was sharing that white silk is fluffier than cotton. And I've kind of used that from then on. So definitely want to start that, but I need to do a blackbird piece first that I have to do. And other than that, I had another one that was a gift. I definitely want to do this one as well. It's got some over one stuff that I'm not super pumped about, but I love the colors. So I'll be doing the Redbird sampler. I try not to get a huge collection as much as there's 2 or 3 others that have come out that are just absolutely gorgeous with Brenda Gervais pieces, but I really want to stitch what I have. So I've tried to cool it. I wanted to get a couple more over the last year that I've missed, but until I finish the ones I have, I'm like, I don't need to kit anything else up. I have all these beautiful threads for my Redbird Fractor, and then my Heart and Hand is going to be done soon. So that's what I have to share. I'll put a slideshow at the end of all my Brenda Gervais finishes, or With Thy Needle and Thread. I should have said that earlier. She also calls her designs With Thy Needle and Thread. The older stuff that I have, a lot of it says Brenda Gervais because for whatever reason, I just collected the older ones. Thank you for spending time with me this afternoon. Thank you for letting me share all of my Brenda Gervais or With Thy Needle and Thread patterns and projects and whips, all the things that we love to talk about. And I hope you're enjoying your spring stitching and doing well as I finish all of my videos in the book of Psalms, chapter 90, verse 17. It says, "May the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands." Take care.